Welcome to a series that is probably going to be titled by the time I upload the video, but is currently untitled. But essentially, this is just sort of like a little yapping series where I literally just play a game and yap while I'm playing about whatever. It's just sort of an idea that I'm just going to say I'm outright stealing from the YouTuber Brookie. If you know him, he used to have an old series called Fireside Brookie, where he would just play a game. Usually it was Call of Duty Zombies, and he would just kind of talk while he played. Um, and those videos were pretty important to me. And I kind of realized when I'm sitting here just playing the games, I got stuff on my mind, and there's not always people around to chat with. So I decided why not just open up OBS, embrace the schizophrenia, and yap to the microphone and play the game. So it's not going to be like super organized or anything like that. Like obviously, this is me actively playing the game. This is all live. If I wanted to stand here in the middle of a horde of enemies and die, then I'll do just that. But yeah, the topic I really wanted to talk about today, though, and the reason I really wanted to make this and start this was sort of just. I'm saying this like as I got like some sort of big fan base and I need to make an explanation, but it's like the reason why my videos are so inconsistent, in a sense that this is something that's always been a factor in me making my videos, and that's just having a trash computer, or like having no money, right? And I'm not saying I'm like living on the streets, obviously not, thank God, but when you're trying to play a game, right? And especially when you're trying to play a game and present it to a viewership, to people to watch, you can't just play anything in any state, right? I mean, to a degree, you could. You gotta remember a lot of Let's Players and YouTubers in general started off with videos that were booty butt cheeks ugly, right? But like also that was for the time pretty acceptable, and not only that, but the barrier to entry was much lower because like especially you know even a decade ago, but going back 2 decades, YouTube was the Wild West. People were like recording their Let's Plays with their phones or something with their webcams and pointing it at their monitors. And but obviously as has gone on, the barrier to entry has gotten in like some ways lower, but in other ways it's a little bit more difficult, right? Because you know how easy it is to open up OBS and set your settings to 1080, 60 frames, and then just and record and do that. So you're not likely to want to watch a video that's in 360p, 15 frames a second. But sometimes that's all a person has access to, and that's what they really want to do is make videos or something like that. So now you kind of hit this point where it's like, do I make ugly content? And this is not even saying the content's inherently bad. You can make a phenomenal video essay that just looks ugly. And thank God video essays are, something you can just put on a second monitor. Usually you can just listen to it, occasionally look over at whatever on the screen. And that's sort of like the kind of thing that's been going through my head because I like playing games, but oh my goodness, my computer is so bad that a lot of the games that I play, I can't really record. For example, uh, was playing Borderlands 4, fun game, super fun game, but I don't think I ever had 60 frames for longer than 10 seconds. Usually, that's with all my settings turned down. That's with frame generation on. Like that's me trying to give my computer as much as it needs or to like just run the game. decently. And my specs, I don't know my specs off the top of my head. I'm not super tech savvy when it comes to computer parts and things like that. I know I have a RX 580, the AMD card. I know that's obviously fairly dated, but what do we do here? What we killed the boss. I killed the boss too fast. The game bugged because I killed the boss too fast. Am I just too strong? What are we doing here? Oh, there we go. Uh, Also, I already played through the story, so I kind of, or not played through it, but I've already watched someone play through it. I'm just going through it for the first time because Vessel of Hatred's on sale for like 16 bucks, so I decided just to get it since I didn't have it before and I really wanted to play this class. Spirit Boar, super fun, but my computer sucks. Um, and while I would have loved to have recorded my time in Borderlands and made a video on it, especially because I do have a list of things to say about it. I just I can't. I couldn't. The game runs like garbage. It will freeze for 5, 10 seconds at a time. It'll have its hitches and things like that, its hiccups. But it's just something I can't do. And all the games that I've played and I've made videos for, those are the games that run rather well. But even then, a lot of the games you'll see, you watch the videos, like I run it on like medium settings. There's so many games that I've played that I could barely run. And I've gone as far as to like make scripts for them. So Borderlands, I didn't make a script for, but Dragon's Dogma 2, I made a script for it. Uh, ooh, wow, things. Oh, this is the mercenary stuff. Okay. Uh, I made a script for the Suicide Squad game, which I actually like really enjoyed quite a bit when it was. I got it when it was on like the super sale, like it was like $3 or something like that. I really loved that game. It was a lot of fun. Um, and then Dragon's Dogma 2, I think I said that. I don't know if I said that. That's another game made a script. Game runs like mayonnaise, like fried mayonnaise. I don't know if that's derogatory of mayonnaise enough because I don't like mayonnaise, but I don't know if that's bad enough to really show how much it's not enjoyable. But but yeah, and it's sort of the reason why I can't. I shouldn't say I can't, but I don't make as many videos or videos as often as I would like to. Like if I just open up my YouTube, my last videos, and I got back-to-back videos, at least at the time of recording this. I did my Kazan video and I did South of Midnight. Both of those games, I was pretty sure I was running on like medium to low. Just really for frame consistency. They're actually both really well optimized games. And then before that, at the time of recording this, that was 5 months ago. My last video wasn't for another like 2 years. And that was Trepang 2, which I think I also ran on low. And it's like I would love to make more videos, but it just sucks having to play a game and it runs poorly for me. Or I should say poorly to the point where it is not, I don't think it would be suitable viewing content. Because I can play a game that does look like fried mayonnaise. I played Monster Hunter Wilds at launch while it was having this very, very, very terrible flashing effect that I'll have to like see if I can find some footage or something. So I might have recorded it just for a second, just so I can show people what the game looks like, or I'll like grab a snippet from somewhere on the internet or something. But every wood, like wood and rock texture in the game was flashing. Like if you had some sort of like photosensitivity or something like that, you were in danger. It was very bad, and it was just something that you can't show anybody that like if someone tried to make a let's play with their game looking like that, you would think that they're probably a genuine lunatic, and you just really would wonder why they would do like that, why they would record that. And a lot of people are like, hey, the biggest part of content creation is just getting in the groove of it, make videos just to make videos. But man, make videos to make videos, but some of these videos gonna kill people. I'm making some crazy, like you'll be making some crazy looking videos that would just make people's eyes barf. And I don't want to do that. I want to be able to make a video that I would want to watch and I can be proud of. And then the other part is that sometimes it's just hard to edit. Not only do I have games that just run poorly, but then I also have to deal with the fact that sometimes it just sucks editing. My computer, like I said, my computer isn't great overall. I know my graphics card on top of my head. I don't know the rest of my specs. I'll probably put them on the screen or put them in the description. But editing becomes a pain because past a certain point, just my program's running slow. You know, if I try to put a clip into my editing programs, it's a small chance, but it's a little bit of a gamble whether or not my computer's just going to not enjoy it and start tweaking. And so it's kind of had me going through a couple of ideas in terms of where I go with my content, which I think I'll kind of always be. I did not mean to do that actually. I kind of always will be making the kind of videos that I have made, which is sort of just like the game overview review type of videos. And then, but there's also like the other types of videos I wanted to make. Like it's this one game called The Last Remnant. It's an older game. Uh, Came out on consoles, JRPG, got a PC release, and then kind of like never really got to see the light of day past a certain point because they got rid of it on the PC storefronts, and they released a remastered version of the game, and then proceeded to not release the remaster of the game on PC. I wanted to make a video on that game, but I wanted to do sort of a really longer format video going over my entire playthrough from booting up the game to going through the story, doing all the side content, you know, talking about all the mechanics of the game. Like I wanted to do like a really, really strong overview of the game, like a la like a Pyro cynical type of video almost, because Pyro's videos on games go super in depth from like start to finish and everything in between. And I watch his Cruelty Squad video too many times, and I will continue to watch it. It's like a comfort video to me. I'll turn that video on when I'm about to go to sleep, and that's a solid 4 hours of just background yap. A couple of videos like that I really love. There's video essays on like games that are like long format. Really, really nice to fall asleep to. But but it's like I want to do videos like that. But I think putting a video like that on a program, on the editing program with my computer, is grounds for me to have to buy a new computer sooner rather than later. Either because my computer's going to blow up, or it's just not going to be possible. So, and then I'm limiting also, like I said, the games that I want to be able to. Those friendlies, those my centipedes. Oh, those are my centipedes. I'm like, where are those coming from? And also, you can kind of see it in the footage right now. The reason I picked Diablo 4 is because this is a game that I could barely run at launch, but the game is smooth. It's like smoothened out really well to the point where like I'm like this shows like I can run the game, I can play it. This is like the minimum of what I would call my like what I want out of my videos. Like it's hitching. The game looks ugly because my graphics are low. It has a little stutter here and there, but it's not like freezing for like 10 seconds. Like here it's a little choppy, but it's also I think it's loading up the town over here. I'm cool with that. That's whatever to me. But then if I pull up Borderlands, I probably won't even be able to get it recorded. I boot the game up, my frame rate's like 10 for like the first 10 minutes playing the game. It's all over the place. And it's also obviously like affected my desire to stream, which also sucks because I think streaming is super fun when it has its moments. Um, Usually when I stream, I'm usually just streaming an ARPG. I'm usually just streaming Torchlight. Whenever a new Torchlight season comes around, that's the only time I really stream because I know that's a game that I can just run perfectly fine. The game doesn't really eat many resources. But also, like, you know, when you're obviously a big part of streaming too is like you don't want to be in a super saturated category because you're just not going to get as many viewers. Which obviously, especially like someone like me, I don't really have a fan base. I don't really have like anything built up. Um, but it's nice to at least have the higher chance. No, I have a higher chance of having people show up. But then if people want to show up and watch a streamer that's playing the game on low settings, choppy game, crashing because it's freezing for 30 seconds. I was playing Borderlands 4 with my friend yesterday, and we need to quit out and reload the game because it was just getting a little laggy. My game was in the loading screen the whole time. And by the whole time, I mean he hit quit to main menu. I see the main menu load screen pop up, and then instead of loading into the main menu, I booted up back into the game. And the time that it took for me to even think about finish loading into the main menu, he had already gotten to the main menu and hit start game. And so instead of going to the main menu, I just pretty much refreshed my game with no say in the matter. It was hilarious. It was also like, wow, that's the times I live in. This this build is actually kind of fun. I saw someone playing this and I was like, this is so stupid. Why? The whole play style is really attack, dodge, attack, dodge, attack, dodge. Because this like gives you your dodge, your evade back on hit. So you just spam this, and then your evade does damage. And so you just spam both. It's pretty fun. But yeah, that's sort of the thing I want to talk about. Just how how interesting of a situation it is being wanting to make content but not having the ability to make content on the things I want. Because also, what's very interesting, and I think a lot of people can't handle, and Borderlands 4 also is really what brought this whole thought up. Here we go. The game's choppy because like I'm loading into the area. Leaving town sucks in this game. That's always when the game's ran at its worst. It's just running out of town because then it's loading everything and like putting me back in combat mode and all that. Um, because as we know, Mr. Pitchfork, the magic the magic of Randy Pitchford. He had things to say regarding people's response to like Borderlands and its performance. And he was saying, like we we sort of optimized Borderlands 4 around playing at like 30 frames, and you gotta spec your game for the hardware you have. Sort of just telling people like, hey, you want more frame rate, but you just don't have the gear to get the frame rate you want at the settings you want. So you gotta. I guess he was trying to tell people to be humble with the specs you have. You're kind of biting off more than you could chew. I don't know. I try to not look at Mr. Pitchford's comments online because I feel like he's like the supreme yapper. So it got me thinking. I feel like I've said it got me thinking a lot, but I have a very different approach to playing games that are whether like decently optimized or poorly optimized. and that I don't really care as long as I can how the game looks, as long as I can get my frame rate to be at least 30. And that's because I know what I'm playing. I don't think in the position that I am in, I'll ever have the ability to comment and say, "Oh, the optimization in this game is trash, and you shouldn't play because it's trash." Because I could barely run it, so I shouldn't. I am definitely not the one to sit here and go, "Oh, Borderlands 4 is so terribly optimized. It's a trash game. You shouldn't play it or whatever." One, I can't run it well enough to even figure out if the game has any level of optimization ever. And two, even then, as long as I get my 30 frames, I personally don't care how a game runs. If I can run the game at decent enough settings like medium, then I'll be like, hey, it's a good looking game or it's a bad looking game or it's an art style that I don't like or whatever. But I'm not gonna sit there and comment too much on the performance of a game. If I can get good frame rate with bad specs, I'll say that on whatever settings. If not, chances are I'm not playing the game anyways, or I'm not making a video or talking about the game anyways. So, because like I said, I have scripts for so many games, like Suicide Squad, Dragon's Dogma. I could make one for Borderlands if I really wanted to. And I've had thoughts about like sort of making almost like a blog site where I just reformat these scripts a little bit to better suit being readable or instead of being a video. And then maybe I'll just go and grab like screenshots or something of the games. But one, a lot of these scripts were from a decent time ago. I think the Suicide Squad, whenever it was on like this big $3 sale, that's when I did that. Dragon's Dogma was around the release. Those were both a while ago. So do I really feel like playing those games again? Not the current moment. I was actually looking into playing Dragon's Dogma again, but like, man, the game just I can play through a game that runs as ugly and as poor as my Dragon's Dogma 2 did once, but two is two playthroughs is kind of I need to wait a hot minute before I think about that. And Suicide Squad maybe. I actually really like I said, I really did enjoy that game. I actually would kind of play it again just to finish builds on some of the other characters I was working on. So that could happen. That could be like my little test drive of the whole trying a written review format. Maybe I should just be a journalist. Is IGN hiring? I don't know. Because I don't think I'd be against the idea of sort of becoming a journalist in that sense, or at least But I guess I wouldn't be. I'd be like just a reviewer. I don't know. Like I don't know I don't do a ton of research for my videos. Any research I do is typically like research into the game's mechanics or things like that. I don't really care much about a game's history. I usually care more so about just the deep inner workings of a game. I'm more interested in the mechanics. However, a game was made, it was made. The game got put in front of me somehow. That's cool. Don't particularly care unless it's some like super insane, egregious story. Um, like what's a good example? I forget what it was. It was a game that came out some time ago. It might have been like 2 years ago now, where the publisher released the game and the developers they like fired the dev team or something like that. So the developers weren't really making money off the game. And it was like some game that you're not supposed to buy or something. I don't know. It was a while ago, but if something like that, maybe I'll do some research into like that because that's like pretty important. But I don't particularly care too much about. Oh, this game was made by this person who made this, and this. Like, I care about how this, and this works in the game. But all that's to say, here's a video on the way. I played little sneak peek for you. I played Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion. Game runs good. Game runs pretty good. So that's why you're gonna get a video for it. I I have the voiceover done. I just need to get off my butt, record a couple extra things, and then start editing. Borderlands kind of got in the way. I wanted to get the video done before Borderlands, but I got lazy, and then I kind of had like a trial run at a new job, which I don't think I'm gonna keep because it just doesn't seem like the type of spot for me to really handle being out long term. As good as the money has a potential of being, I think my mental health is just gonna blow up being there. So I'm trying to get this Daemon X Machina video done. This is the video to hold you over in the meantime. Mysterious single person who decides to watch. And like I said, might be a series I try to do a little, maybe not, definitely not weekly. I don't got that much stuff to yap about. Maybe monthly. I don't even know how long this is right now. I'm hoping that it's at least a good, like, 15, 20, 25. Wow. I'm a good yapper. I should do this more often. I should make videos. Yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time.